Hello YouTube, welcome back to another video. It is me, Pedro Mclovin, and I'm going to change things up today. So normally I've been bringing you build videos, how to make the best player possible for the style of play that you like to do. But today, I want to take it to that next step. So you've made your player. Now, what do you do after that? How do you make him the best possible player that you can do? And today's focus is going to be on badges. Every build that you do has a certain amount of badge points that you can use. So where do you spend those? Which badges work for what you want to do? And that's what we're going to focus on today. And more specifically, we're going to talk about centers or inside big guys, whether that's power forward or center. What I did is I chose one of the builds that I've done. This is a versatile big guy. He's kind of a jack of all trades. He can do pretty much everything, and there's not one specific category that he is, far and above anything else, right? He's pretty much good at everything, just not great at one thing, right? So this gives us the capability of looking at the most amount of badges, and then we can highlight some specific ones. We're going to go through each category here: finishing, shooting, playmaking, and defensive rebound. And as we're going through, I'm going to highlight some specific ones that I think are really good for centers and big guys to use, and then some that you have the capability of unlocking but don't really do a whole lot, right? All right, so let's jump into it. We're going to start with finishing. So here's the badges that a normal big guy can unlock, right? All the ones that are like you can't see at all, these are ones that you just don't have the capability of doing, right? You can see like Acrobat, Giant Slayer, Slithery Finisher. These are ones this build just cannot do because it's too tall. This is a 7-foot center, right? So you're really not going to be able to do these few badges. But what you are going to be able to do is really kind of specialize in certain categories. And the first one I want to talk about is Back Down Punisher. So Back Down Punisher. This is where you were able to really kind of dominate the post, right? It says allows players to have more success than normal when backing down a defender while posting up. What this does is you were able to post up and then back your person down really quickly. They don't have a lot of chance to stop it. There is a defensive badge I'll talk briefly about that counters this, but most people don't worry about that. So Back Down Punisher is how you get those easy shots underneath the rim. All right. So the next one that I want to talk about is Drop Stepper. So Drop Stepper allows for more success when attempting post drop steps and hop steps, in addition to protecting the ball better while performing these moves in the post. Drop Stepper move is one of the most deadly moves in the post. So if you can get this badge and get it high, you again are going to dominate. You put that with Back Down Punisher, Drop Stepper as a combination, both gold or Hall of Fame, and you are killing it. Now you'll see here underneath the badge, it talks about what you need to have to be able to do this, right? So bronze is 53 post control, silver 65, gold is 73, Hall of Fame is 81. As you can see on the right, it says what my actual statistic is for this. I have a 90. Right? So I can get Hall of Fame on this really easy. So when you're making your builds, make sure that you're focusing on that number too. As you're going along, you can bring up this page and you can see exactly what you're able to do and what you need to get to be able to get it. So if Drop Stepper Hall of Fame is what you want, your post control has to be at least an 81, right? We go back to Back Down Punisher, 85 is what you have to be able to have Hall of Fame. And the difference between Hall of Fame and gold is significant in some of these badges. All right, so let's go over to Fast Twitch. This is another one I think is really key to success as a big guy. Speeds up the ability to get standing layups or dunks off before the defense has time to contest. So Fast Twitch. What does this do? When you have the ball and you're underneath the rim, you go up quickly, whether it's a dunk or a little inside shot. I mean, when I say quickly, you are like jumping off the ground super quick. And the good thing about this is those that are good at defense don't have the reaction time that they need to be able to defend it. That's why this is so good, right? Again, pay attention to the statistics that you need. This one is a little different because you need either one or the other. You don't have to have both. So Hall of Fame for this is a close shot of 84 or a standing dunk of 84. So if you only have a close shot of 70 like myself on this particular build, but I have a standing dunk of 95, I still can get this Hall of Fame, even though it doesn't meet both, okay? So keep that in mind. All right, so putback boss. This is another one I think is really essential. So putback boss enables putback dunks and boosts the shot attributes of a player that attempts a putback layup or dunk right after getting an offensive rebound. So those that snag rebounds, like this particular build does easily, you have a tendency as a big guy to go back up because you're inside, you may have position, and you want to get the easy points. This badge helps with that. It boosts your shot. So pay attention again to the attributes, and this is something that you want to do. If you were a rebounder, which most big guys should be, this badge is essential to being able to grab that rebound and go right back up and dunk it on their head or get those easy 2 points. The next badge, let's talk about Unstrippable. So Unstrippable is really good for a slasher, and most big guys are not slashers, but it's not just the slasher, okay? This badge, which most big guys don't understand, is really good for standing dunks. So we talked about back down punisher and drop stepper. Well, Unstrippable goes with it, okay? Unstrippable is another one that really kind of sets you up to the next tier. So you've backed them down, you've done your drop step, and you're there. You're going to either do a layup, close range shot, or a dunk. Well, this is going to help you when those guards are coming in swiping at you. You have Unstrippable on, you're not going to get stripped that easy. So Unstrippable, this is essential to not getting the ball just knocked out of your hand. If you look at the attributes, it's again one or the other. All right. So let's talk about a couple that you really don't need to have, right? And this is just my opinion. Fearless finisher, all right, strengthens a player's ability to absorb contact and still finish. This isn't going to be that essential when you're really kind of dominating the paint down low. If you are going to be driving in and you want your speed up, you want some ball handling, you're going to be driving in, this is an amazing badge to have. Fantastic for smaller finishers, but when you're really kind of dominating the post on the inside, this isn't one that you need to be super high. So don't spend all your badge points and don't worry about trying to get your driving layup to an 89 to get the gold, because this one isn't going to really set you apart from the next big guy. Post-spin technician, this is a really good one if you're trying to have the spin being part of your repertoire. Same with Dream Shake. These really are going to be dependent on your type of build and the type of player that you are, right? So having Dream Shake, having post-spin technicians, if those are the moves that you like doing, spend the points in them. But myself, I think drop stepper, back down punisher, those are two that are really big. And I'm a big guy on pick and rolls, right? So if I'm getting the ball off the pick, Dream Shake and post-spin technicians aren't something that I'm normally doing. The other one is Pro Touch. This is just timing, right? So if you have trouble getting your timing right on close shots, Pro Touch may be something that you want to make sure that you're putting in there. Now, once you play the position enough, this badge becomes less and less important. The more that you get used to it, absolutely. But realistically, this isn't something that you need to put a lot of badge points in, if any. All right? So that's what I think is important for your finishing when it comes to being a big guy. Back down punisher, drop stepper, fast twitch, putback boss, and unstrippable. Those are really good ones. Now, the other ones we didn't touch base on, posterizer, mouse in the house, rise up. Those are good ones to use. But when we're looking at the most important ones, that's the ones that I covered. All right, so let's go to shooting next. Now, when you're looking at shooting as a big guy, what is it that you're going to be focusing on, right? Is it being the best shooter on the team? If it is, you're going to lose things in other aspects. What I think is important as a big guy is to be able to make a shot, not be the one that has to make the shot, if that makes sense. So be a shooter that can shoot the ball, but don't be the shooter on the team that has to shoot the ball. All right, so this particular build, we have a 75 three-point shot, and I green light consistently with this build. So what kind of badges do we need to have to be able to be actually really good at this position? I don't have a high three-point shot, but what I can do is I can still knock down a shot. So let's talk about the badges that we should focus on. The first one which I think most people playing this game this year know, is sniper. So sniper, jump shots taken with slightly early or late timing will receive a boost, while early or late shots will receive a bigger penalty. So if you're close to greening, you know your timing, sniper will boost your percentage of how many you make of those whites. Now, if you were late or early, which are pretty far off of green, you shouldn't be, worrying about the badge itself at that point. You should really be focusing on your timing. Timing of the shots this year is more essential, and sniper helps with that. So the next one, as a center, I think a limitless spot up is a big badge. Now, I don't think you need to worry so much of how do I get to a gold or Hall of Fame. Even silver gives you the ability to take a step back from the three and make it. So limitless spot up gives a boost to the range that a player can effectively shoot standing 3-point shots. This is big, but you don't need to be a hash shooter or half court shooter. Being able to take a step back is really good for pick and pops, which this kind of build can do and most big guys can do. So limitless spot up is big for that. And the last one that I really want to focus on for shooting is hot zone hunter. So hot zone hunter, shots that are taken in a player's hot zones are given a boost. If you can be consistent with your shot, your hot zones are going to be pretty much the entire 3-point range. And when you do that, man, this badge is huge. And just being able to get it on silver is a big time. If you can get it on higher, if you sacrifice something else to get an 83 and get gold, that may help you a little bit more. But even on silver, this is huge. So you've got these badge points, right? 19 badge points. So where should you not spend these badge points? A couple of them that I think are clutch shooter, right? Shot attempts that occur during the final moments of the fourth quarter or in any overtime period receives a large boost. Like, come on, that's a waste of badge points. The other one that I think is not really that essential is lucky number 7. If you're playing rec a lot or pro-am and you guys are shooting fast and you want to do that, sure, absolutely. But this badge is really made for guards, especially on fast breaks, right? Being able to be the center, catch it, throw it out. Well, that's going to be a big time, but what's not going to happen is the center being the one that's leaking out and getting the shot within 7 seconds. All right? Volume shooter is the other one. As a center, a pick and pop, you're not going to be the main shooter, right? The guards are. So having more shots taken is not something that you should be doing unless it's more inside shots. So being a big 3-point shooter as a center who's grabbing boards, blocking shots, that shouldn't be your job. If that's what you're focusing on as a build, you're going to be falling short, right? So those are the shooting badges I think are the best. Sniper, Limitless, Hot Zone Hunter. If those are your main focus, you're going to be doing really good. Obviously, the other ones that you want to look at, Deadeye, Blinders, Catch and Shoot, the kind of essential badges. Even Green Machine is really good. But I think if you really focus on Sniper, Hot Zone Hunter, and Limitless, you're going to be able to knock down a ton of shots as a center. All right, so let's jump into playmaking here. Most big guys aren't going to have a lot of playmaking badges. And so what you really have to be focused on where you're putting your badge points, right? So I think there's 2 main badges when it comes to playmaking as a center, especially an inside center who dominates the paint, that I think you really need to have. First and foremost, and if you've ever seen any of my videos, you know what's coming, bullet passer. So bullet passer speeds up how quickly a player gets the ball out of their hands as well as the velocity of the pass. This goes without saying. You want to throw quicker passes, less interceptions, and being able to get it to the person so they can shoot their shot when they're open and versus trying to worry about the guy catching up to them. Bullet passer is where it's at. Even on silver, there's a vast difference from somebody who does not have this badge at all. Any build you make, this should be the badge that you have on playmaking, no matter what. Bronze or above, make sure you have bullet passer. The next one for a center, and I think is probably the next most important, most people would say break starter, but I actually think it's post playmaker. So post playmaker is when passing out of the post or after an offensive rebound, receivers are given a shot boost. As a center, once you build your IQ up and you grab a board you should not just be looking to score. You should be looking to, if you have position, put it back up. We talked about finishing badges for that. But if you have your IQ, you should see somebody out running around on that 3-point range where you can pass it out and it gives them a boost for their shot. This is huge when it comes to being a center. If you can get the board and pass it out and get an assist easily and get 3 points instead of maybe a contested 2 down low, come on, that's a given. That's essential. All right, couple badges, right, that we don't really need to worry about. We have floor general. Teammates receive a boost to their offensive attributes when this player is in the game. I mean, really as a center, you're not going to be able to get this very high. Pass accuracy has to be at least a 78 to get silver and an 88 to get gold. So really to kind of put you further along and really make this badge make sense, you have to really be at least a gold, and you've got to be 88 pass accuracy, which is not going to be a normal thing for a big guy. Some of the other ones that we take a look at, glue hands, right? So you got to have at least some ball handling. Most centers don't have a lot of ball handling. Tight handles, triple threat. I mean, really just take a look at these. The only one that I think would be pretty good is unpluckable if you can get some ball handling, just because you may catch a pass and someone's going to run up to you and try to swipe the ball away from you. That's a good one to have, but it's not, it's not essential to a big guy. If you catch a pass with bullet passer, throw it out, right? The other one that's not really that big unless you got your IQ really high, special delivery. This really is for alley-oops or flashy passes. As a center, it's not something you should be doing on a regular basis anyways. Some alley-oops out of the post are kind of cool. But for the most part, if you got the badge points, put them in these other categories instead, right? Break starter, bullet passer, post playmaker, maybe even dimer or needle threader. Those make a lot more sense. All right. So let's jump down to defensive and rebounding. This is one of the biggest categories when it comes to centers and inside builds, right? This is where you really make your bread and butter. Defending the paint, defending the inside, grabbing the rebounds, blocking shots. With most big guys too, you can actually get a lot of steals too, just based on the length of your arms. There's a few that I want to focus on that I think people should pay attention to. But there's also a couple of these that aren't that important, right? So first and foremost, I think one of the biggest badges this year is box. So box strengthens a player's ability to effectively box out opponents in anticipation of a rebound. To get Hall of Fame on this, you have to have your rebounding at 94. One of the reasons this build has 94 rebounding is for this badge, because box out this year actually is really big. Most centers or even small forwards playing the 3 in park, they don't have worm to be able to counteract this, so you really will not have a lot of people boxing or being able to get out of your box out. Grabbing rebounds is really easy at that point, so this badge is essential, right? Box people out, grab the boards. Pro-Am Rec, it goes without saying, but also at Park, this is a huge badge to have. Brick wall. Oh, brick wall. This year, brick wall is huge. Screens have been fixed this year to where they actually work if you have a higher brick wall setting. A lot of people aren't putting their badge points to start with in Pick Dodger, so your brick wall, if you can get this up very quickly, you are going to set screens and basically bear hug everyone around you. Brick wall is huge. You got to have a high interior defense to get Hall of Fame, but man, does it work if you can do it. So 95 interior defense gives you that Hall of Fame brick wall, and if you can get your points in brick wall Hall of Fame, do it. Do not waste them other places without brick wall Hall of Fame. All right. Another one I think that is big this year is chase down artist. Not usually a huge thing for an inside player, but chase down this year is key. So chase down artists boost the speed and leaping ability of a player when chasing down an offensive player in anticipation of a block attempt. Chase down this year, you can get a lot of blocks. In past, it would be kind of sporadic, and so you would look at it and go like, why did I get this badge up to Hall of Fame? This year with Hall of Fame, chase down artists, you will get a lot of blocks. Just because the way the mechanics are this year and the way the game is playing, this badge actually took a step up in defense, so you can really kind of set yourself apart on the inside. Now, another badge I wanted to kind of talk about this year is Intimidator. I think this badge is actually really good. At first, when I first started playing with the center, I didn't see a lot with it until I put it to gold, and now I see a lot of misses when I'm guarding somebody. Paint, the perimeter, it doesn't matter. When anyone is shooting around me when I have this badge on gold, I mean, they're missing a lot more than I've seen. Now, it might just be in my mind, but I think this badge is huge. Okay, so Intimidator, especially at 7 foot with a 7'10" wingspan, I mean, you are going to be causing these people to miss shots left and right. Now, this year, it's not as good as years prior, but it still does a lot, which is Pogo Stick. So Pogo Stick allows players to quickly recover and go back up for another jump upon landing. This could be after a rebound, block attempt, or even jump shot. Pogo Stick is big. If you can get it to Hall of Fame, you will see a huge difference from even just bronze. Being able to be tall and jump quickly and over and over and over again really does a lot. Now, I've noticed the jumping this year causes more stamina drain than in years past, but this is still a huge badge to have. You may get tired pretty quickly, so you won't be able to do a lot after that, but you should be able to get blocks and rebounds still. Or at least contested shots, especially partnered with Intimidator. Now, the last badge I really want to kind of focus on is Worm. We talked a little bit about it when it came to boxing out, but Worm, so when boxed out, rebounders have more success swimming around and getting into successful rebounding position. Most people aren't using box out either right now. So it's early and they're kind of messing around with a lot of badges. So if you get your Worm up, you can push a guy around and get a rebound, especially those that don't have a lot of rebounding at all. You get boxed out by a guard, you will throw him to the side and be able to get a board easy. In last year, it didn't seem as good, and this year, it works. Spend your points and make sure that you use Worm. Get it up to gold. Now, there's quite a few of these that are still good badges. Interceptor obviously is good. I only have it on bronze on my center right now because I've kind of messed around with the points, the badge points, to see what works and what doesn't work. With a 7'10" wingspan, I still get a ton of interceptions only with bronze and only with a 70 steal. So it's not even a high steal rating. You can get a lot of steals just based on timing. Post lockdown, I think, is another good build because a lot of people, we talked about in the finishing with the back down punisher, a lot of people don't have that. So if you can have your post lockdown on, you will be able to really kind of to dominate the paint on the defensive side of things when someone's trying to back you down. So if you don't have post lockdown and someone has back down punisher, you're going to get dominated. They're going to push you down and they're going to make a shot pretty easily. So getting post lockdown is big when you have the points, but this should be one of the later badges that you do. Another badge this year that I think is good is Hustler. It's still kind of, I'm still up in the air on what I think the importance of this is. So just kind of, if you're going to do this one, save it to the end. But Hustler is where you can get the beat out an opponent to grab a loose ball. I've seen it, but I haven't seen a lot of people with really high Hustler being the reason that they get these loose balls. I think it's just a timing thing right now, so I don't know. So let's talk about a couple badges that I think are not the most essential. Defensive leader. I mean, really, if you're playing competitive pro-am, maybe I could see it as being a huge thing. If that's your focus, is maybe other people don't have a lot of defense. You have a lot of offensive-minded builds on your team, so you're giving them a boost to their defense. But realistically, I don't think this is one you should be spending a lot of points in. Another one is Pickpocket for center. I'm not big on this. I don't think that you get a lot from it when you're a center, being able to strip the ball. You shouldn't be playing a lot of on ball at that point anyways, and if you are, focus less on steals and focus more on just staying in front of the person. And then ball stripper, again, if you have a really high steal, this could be cool because when they're down low, and they do a move on you, you can just swipe and try to steal the ball. I still do it without ball stripper, so I don't think it's the most important, but just, pay attention to it and see if it works for you. Again, I'd make sure my points are on these other things first, and then if I have anything extra, maybe experiment. but it's not the most important this year. And then if we go back to normal stuff, you know, rebound chaser, rim protector, these kind of go without saying. They are kind of the standard that you do for a big guy. So, I mean, you could use it. Tireless defender as well. Like I said, you when you're playing defense, I think this badge right here is more essential to when you are a lockdown perimeter player versus a big guy inside. So I don't spend a lot of points on tireless defender either. I really kind of focus on these other aspects. So that's it, guys. That's the badges that I think are the most important for a big guy. And I'll cover them again here real quick. So in finishing, I think you should really focus on back down punisher, drop stepper, fast twitch, put back boss, and unstrippable. Use your other points you get in these other categories as you see fit, but those are the main ones I think that you could really dominate, especially in the post. When it comes to shooting, again, I think sniper is probably your best bet just because it gives you that flexibility of being able to shoot. Limitless, spot up, and hot zone hunter, the other two, I think you should really make sure that you get up as high as you can to start with. Other ones, green machine, catch and shoot, blinders, and deadeye are obviously the other ones that you want to focus on, but don't spend points in them until you get these other ones up because I think they make the most impact. When it comes to playmaking, we've talked about this a lot, which is bullet passer is the most important badge that you can have on pretty much any build because passing, no matter what, is essential. You don't want to be one of those randoms running around the park never passing it. So when you are passing it, you want to make sure it gets to the person, right? So bullet passer is huge. And again, as a big guy, post playmaker is really, really big. Outside of that, the next one obviously is break starter. So pay attention. If you have the extra points, throw it in break starter. And then the last section is defensive and rebounding. So the ones I really covered is making sure that you have box, brick wall, chase down, intimidator, pogo stick, and worm. Those I think are the big ones. Outside of that, being able to have rebound chaser, rim protector, and interceptor, those are kind of the given again. I didn't want to focus this whole video on just here's the badges that you already know that you need. So these are the ones I wanted to cover. The other ones I think that most people maybe don't know a lot about, right? So as you're spending your points, as you're making your build, pay attention to the overall and what you need to do. Even when you come into the builder and you have nothing set on anything, you can always hit Y and it tells you, or if you're on PlayStation, you know, what triangle or whatever it is, you can always take a look at something and it will tell you what the requirements are, right? Slithery finisher must be 6'10" or shorter. And it will tell you like what you need to be able to get that badge. And if that badge is something that we covered today that you think is essential, or maybe another one that you looked at being like, I want to be able to do this on silver, gold, Hall of Fame, whatever, you could pay attention to that, right? If mouse in the house is one you really want, then you got to take a look and really kind of decide which category that you're going to put your stats in, right? So I really hope this video helped, guys. I hope you're able to take something out of this as a center. You know, this year you actually have a lot of benefit to being a big guy in both park, rec, and pro-am. So pay attention to the badge points you're doing. Pay attention to the build that you're doing. I have a center build, drop it in the next couple days. This build actually in depth about what we do. So pay attention to the YouTube channel as well, which is going to give you the capability of being able to do a versatile build, and you're able to put your badge points where you want. But if you're making a build and you're not sure what to do, go to the badge point sections, take a look at each one and figure out which one is most important to the build that you're doing. And this breakdown really kind of focuses on centers. And if you have any questions, post it in the comment section, guys. And for now, that's it. That's what I got for you today. So make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Make sure that you guys like the video. Leave those comments about your thoughts and about different badges and how to spend the badge points. And we'll catch you guys next time.